This is going to be the energy report from here forward. I did a 9-card pull here from a new deck that I have. It's based on the tarot. First, I'm going to say that the energies are quite different than, like, how do you describe them? My last energy report was, well, a lot of my energy reports have been either surges or pushes universally with the energy field, lifting veils, this kind of thing. At this point, a veil has been lifted, but also the energy's been flipped. Now, one of the things that I've noticed as well is taking a mental picture of where I'm sitting is that normally there's a directness to the energy. It comes straight at you. You know where it's coming from and what you use your instinct to discern. It's very easy to see. But from this point, it's almost like the energy, good and bad, has been put into a blender, blended up and shot back out. So it's a little harder to discern what's good, what's bad of the energies. It's not just one steady stream. It's intermingled and coexisting, this kind of thing. So it's a little harder to decipher, a little more subtle, a little more, this kind of thing is what I'm getting. So I'm going to attempt here to let the cards guide me. I'm going to channel energy, but I just felt raw doing it in this way because the energies are what they are. So I'm going to use the cards to kind of guide me. So the first card I get is the King of Cups, and that is about mastering of the emotional center, which is a lot of what my readings gear towards. That's the ultimate, right? Becoming master of your emotions and able to discern where and when to bring them forth and when to hold them back, and to be the master in a way that we do this in a smart manner. My cat is flipping out here. So, yeah, in these cards it's depicted by a dragon, a fierce-looking dragon. Hopefully I get the right pictures up for this. Looking at a cup with a ball in it, and it's like that is the ultimate of what we want. And we're keeping a close eye on it to make sure that it is something we want to tend to, something we want to nurture and all that. Now the King of Cups is the king of his emotions. This is about compassion and kindness and caring for others in that kind of way. Even though there seems to be a lot of anger coming through this card, or maybe not anger as much as having to fight to get to where you are emotionally, that we may need a break here in order to understand completely from compassion. I feel like we're finally struggling to get where we want to be. Now, on the bottom of this card, don't mind that jingling, that's my cat. Oh, watch out, cat. She's flipping out when I do readings. There's 2 crabs at the bottom, and these are a sign of Cancer, right? And Cancers, they go out, they get what they want, and they go back in their hiding zone. And it's kind of at the bottom of the card. Phasing out is the sense I get. We're phasing out of needing to hide from our emotions is really what I get. And not only are the energies from the universe coming forth in a way that unveils this in each individual, and you being able to see that in another individual, but it's also going to be unveiled either side of the fence here. Whether you're the one holding back emotions, they're going to start to rise to the surface, or there's someone outside of you that is holding back emotions, it's really going to rise to the surface to be revealed. And this is where the King of Cups, we're starting off trying to manage and master the energy of emotion. So that's the first card. Second card, what do you know? We get the Empress. She is about abundance, all that is calm, cool, and collected in a sense. I get a sense of calm here from this deck. She has her hands folded in prayer and thought. Thought forms as very important around this time. Not only are we learning to master our emotions, but learning to master our mind as it flows abundantly outward. I think the Empress uses her ability to manifest. She is fertile. She is Mother Nature. In this card, it speaks to more of the beauty of things and the brightness of being, of happiness within and without. So I feel like this is what the universe is trying to say. We need to not only come from our emotional state, but in our mind and our whole sense of being, we need to come outward. The Empress really is the Venus, talking about love and beauty from the exterior, but also the interior. So I feel like that's the urging to make sure that there's a purity here in everything that we birth, including our mindset, our emotionals center, and anything that comes from our mind. It needs to be purified and flower into a purity that speaks outward, really. The interesting thing now that I see the Empress next to the King, it's almost like the King is forcing those emotions outright, and anything that we would have suppressed will come out distorted. So anything that you're pushing down is really going to come out so much more forceful than it should be if dealt with in the scheme of things. So I feel like that's the King of Cups here. I feel like the King of Cups is all those emotions coming forward to the Empress to a degree that we can purify them. If we deal with them and feel with them and heal with them, they will come forward in the Empress to birth new life in a pure form. Next card. The Ace of Cups. What do you know? I'm turning these over as I go here. The Ace of Cups is about the pouring of emotions into something. So all of the mastery of the emotions, the purity from within, comes outward into form. The Ace of Cups is still within the individual. It's the spark of emotion that goes outward to another. So if we're talking about the Empress being able to birth new ideas, she's fertile with everything from her own physical body to what she manifests outside of her, to an abundance of ideas and emotions and things within her. Again, a lot of purity coming through. The Ace of Cups is about taking that one step forward and going outward to show that into a new realm. And literally the pot here that is dripping into another pot is, the pure form that we can come from love. And if it's dripping into another pot, it's putting it into someone else outside of us. So the beginning processes of that, because feeling it in its purest form. So I feel this is maybe the map of where we need to go. And I feel like there may be incidences here where we have opportunities to do this. Second row of first card. The Hermit. Yeah. So this is interesting that the Hermit comes after the King of Cups, the Empress, and the Ace of Cups. Because the Ace of Cups brings the want to go outward. The Hermit may be where we all are at this point. I feel like this is kind of, again, the King of Cups, the Empress, and the Ace of Cups. These are the ideal of where the universal energy can support you. Dealing with and mastering your emotions. Empress, the fertility and the abundance within your own self to garner all of that and bring it forward. The Ace of Cups is, again, sharing it with others. Now we have the Hermit. This is about going inside to figure out, to conjure up, to understand. So we may have the King of Cups bringing us to a mode here, as I said before, that if we have been stuffing our emotions, it will come into areas that are not pleasant. So we can have fear and anger come, and bitterness and resentment come if we have not dealt with or healed from, felt out our emotions from past. So I feel the Hermit is people going inside to, one, figure out what is causing the disruption. Because I feel like the veils are lifting to a degree that we understand there's something here that needs to be dealt with, but we need to recluse ourselves inside ourselves to figure out what that is, and that's the Hermit energy. The next one we have is the World card, and that is about celebrations of completions. So if you look at the scheme of things, a lot of times you have stuff going on you may not understand, but you're too busy, you just keep going, and then things blow after. Well, when the Hermit comes in, it's like, no, we go inside, we figure out, because if we don't let life pass us by, we stop to smell the roses, we come across all of this, and you can understand it looking from those different perspectives and seeing things and offering. The universe will offer you instinct and to give you time to look into that instinct, or you making time to look into that instinct gives you the power to figure it out. That's the Hermit card. The World is the actual coming to the realization that I can do something here. I can complete something here. I know what the lesson is here. I can move forward. This kind of thing. So the World is about the completion. It's right under the Empress. It falls. So it's, again, coming back to the purity of thought, purity of mind, purity of heart coming through. That will give us the completion of where we need to be here. And I'll get to it in the end, but the universe is really pushing an energy forward. Now, the third in the middle row here is the Two of Wands. Again, the World signifies an end of something. It could signify you figuring out there's a lesson here. Oh, I've learned the lesson. Oh, I'm good. I am celebrating that in some kind of way. There's a part of you that acknowledges there's a completion here, a relief, because the World always carries with it some kind of relief that I'm done with that and I can move forward. The Two of Wands is about left or right. It is about decision making, you know. Yeah, we have a man here with two heads and both looking in different directions. It's like we can go left or we can go right. There's always options here. And the sense here is that we've successfully completed or come to a completion here within our thought processes, as long as that's pure of heart and mind. We can come to a completion here to make the right decision and go in the right way. The feeling is that there's one very grounded, stable offer, and another that is, I don't even know, it's like it's metal. This, but a need to make a decision, a need to come to a decision, and a need to go forward in that. And again, we start with the Hermit, so that's taking all of our energy inward to figure out where it is exactly we want to go, and a realization of lessons here that brings us to a point where we make a decision. Now in the last row here, the first card I get is the Three of Cups, and now that's another celebratory card. But the Three of Cups is more about joining together with others. It can be about in loving ways, in romantic ways, this kind of thing. But it's always about happy and people that we are very happy to be with. It makes us happy. It's joyful, all of this. So there's something here about a decision that we make to go in a certain way that brings us to a celebratory energy, and also may bring us to, what do you call that? Like soulmates, meaning not necessarily romantical, but people that are in our life to help us move forward. And these are people that we enjoy being with, people that make us happy, and people that are abundant on their own. The next card we have, Nine of Swords. Now, This is interesting because I feel like this is the left or right. I feel like this is the option. If we choose the right way, we will come into contact with our soul grouping, our soul family, this kind of thing. If we don't, I feel like Nine of Swords also sits with the energy that there's a lot of stress here around decision making or around making the wrong decision in some kind of way. My cat is totally... No, get down. Get off. No, she never does this. She's jumping all over the cards. Anyway, I think she's... Anyway, Nine of Swords. Yeah, it's the stress and anxiety that can come from making a wrong decision. And that's the sense I get is we go one way, we could come across. It's not as clear cut as it may seem. But I feel like, again, if we're coming from a pure heart, a pure mind and soul, like we're really come from a purity of emotion in ourselves and going outward in that way, we will make the right decision. I mean, the stress and anxiety sits in a place too where if we make the wrong decision, this could come out. Now, the last card we have is the Five of Wands. Yeah, that's struggle and strife. So the sense here is that one road can cause us strife and one road can cause us happiness and completion. Now the sense here is, give me a minute. Yeah, I feel like we may be stressing about the decision, not enough. Meaning, we may not stress enough about the decision that we make, and it may take us in a way that seems happy at first, but it's stressful and argumentative here as we go forward. Now I'm going to pull another. They're asking me to take from the bottom, and it comes out with the Ace of Wands, and that's about creativity. When the pen hits the paper, then the magic will begin. So that's also about action as well. Taking action in a way that is creative. So we may have people that are needing to take action in a certain way. You know what I'm feeling actually now? I feel like there's a struggle here, no less. I feel like in order to gain, because a lot of us are just not in a place where we've mastered our emotions, though this is where they want us to be. They want us to be able to feel the emotions when they rise to the surface, bleed them out, and then move forward. That's what they want, is to feel it and heal and move forward. And if we do that as we go, but this is not the way society works. This is not the way that we've been trained. We've been trained to do the opposite, hold it back, be what they call strong, which actually weakens your field. We move to the Empress again. I'm going to rehash this. That's the purity of mind and thought. I feel like that's the universal energies going. This is where our center is. This is where we need to stay. Now, no matter, because this King of Cups is kind of coming forth like I'm going to conquer this, it may be in your mindset that you want to conquer these emotions. You want to bring about, you want to get through. The Empress, the softness of the Empress coming in there. We can't conquer our emotions by going in with rage. We got to conquer our emotions by coming in with compassion, and that brings strength. And then coming across to the Ace of Cups again, once we get to that point where we are balanced and pure of mind and thought and heart, we can go outward towards others. Okay? And then the Hermit again, bringing in another chance to look inward, to make sure, to scan ourselves, to make sure that we got it all? Have we figured out our emotions? Are we purely in a point here where we can or are dealing with emotions, feeling them properly, and going forward without pain or resentment or bitterness? If so, then the world comes in and says, then you can celebrate, because this is, we're celebrating because your lessons have been learned, and you will go forward in a renewed energy, and a new cycle will begin with your evolution process here in the emotional center. And then the world doesn't stop after you realize your lesson or what it is that you need to gain. Two of Wands comes in and gives you an option of where you want to go from here on in. After you've realized this lesson or whatever it may be, life lesson is what they said, then you have the chance to make a decision. And it may be that coming to this decision, the Hermit, like going in and making these decisions about the emotions and whatnot, is going to bring you to a degree where you had the options all along, but now are going to make the decision. So instead of coming to the completion of the lesson and then making a decision, the decision's been there all along, but having completed a lesson, it is easier to make the decision after that point. And then the last row, again, the Three of Cups. We will start to, as we complete lessons and finish self-work, working on the heart and stuff like this, as we complete those things, we will be rewarded with soul family, happy gatherings, happy tidings, people around us that make us happy, that we are excited to be with. This is kind of a reward. So if this is going on for you, this is reward for work well done in the past. Then we get the Nine of Swords right on the heels of the happy card. And the Nine of Swords is about stress and anxiety. So where does this come from? Usually from unjust dealings, or again, we have a decision that's to be made. We may have made a wrong decision. I don't know. This is really in the plans here of everybody. Not everybody's going to make the same decision, and not everybody's going to learn and take their lessons forward from the decision that they made. They may learn the lesson, but not take it forward. They learn the lesson and they acknowledge it, but they don't integrate it into their life forward. So therefore they loop again into, could be one of them. Because the energy of Nine of Swords is about struggle and strife. And again, we don't like the options. Why? Because they're not in our belief system. So it's a self-imposed prison. We put ourselves in a prison because the answer is there, but we don't like the answer, so we're not going to go in that direction. So this could be down to ego, to stubbornness, to bitterness, again, unprocessed stuff. So this is all part of that scheme. And then the Five of Wands is the actual fighting outwardly that could happen. It could be inner struggle as well. There's a great passion to want to move forward here, but I feel like there's people in situations where they just will not make the necessary changes that need to be made. Again, the last card I flipped to give some clarity is the Ace of Wands, and can be about great passion, because the Five of Wands is still in passion and action and movement. So I feel like there's a new direction that wants to open up here, but we may be in a mode where we're not self-healed enough to see that new opening, so we are struggling with that. There may be an option here, a road that is open to us, an offer to us, but some of us are not seeing it as a valid option. Therefore, there's struggle and strife in the Nine of Swords, which is about stress and anxiety. So that is basically the reading. Now I'm going to kind of channel off here into an area. They've been pushing me to get this energy out, and as mixed up as I feel it is, again, I feel like the universe has taken positive and negative energies and blended them together to a degree that they're just shoving it all out. Because before it was very clear to me what was negative, what was positive, and now there's more subtle rays coming at us with mixed energy. I don't know how to express it other than that. And there's different fields of people that are going to be affected in different ways. Lower energy vibe people. These are people that are very ego-driven, very driven by society's norms, what they deem for me, that's the way I go. These type of people will, if they're on the, on the line of any evolvement here, they'll either be completely unaffected and continue blindlessly, or they will start to really see things open up in their world that just is going to shock and amaze them. And they're going to have to absorb things in a different way if they're on the end of the line here. Now, for all of these energies since 2012, 2013 going, they did tell me that 2023, at the end of 2023, it's not like we're going to have an end of advancements, but it will go back to the normal frequencies that have always been and always were. But from 13 to 23, this is where the veil's so thin that the energies can really be pushed at us to a high degree to open us up to these energies. Again, people that are on lower frequencies may stay there. Some may grab on and try and climb. But again, the people that I feel are going to have the most effect over this, I'm saying this next time, but really until 2023, are going to be the people who have in the last 5-10 years been in a situation where they're looking into metaphysics. They're looking into, there's curiosity. What is this? Why? How does the world work? There's got to be more than just this, you know? People that are looking into energies like this, these people are going to get the highest benefit as I see it. And those that are highly evolved will continue to evolve, but it won't be such a over leaps and bounds. It'll just be more subtle to them. It'll be like it's always been. There's an evolution, but it's just slow and they were very much ahead of the curve, but they're still going to grow and advance, but not as high a leap, if you could say it that way. So that's really how I see the energies kind of advancing at this time. And for me, it's been hard to suss things out, to detect, to scan and understand everything. And talking to other people that are higher frequency, you know, you kind of get a feel for, okay, they're going through it, I'm going through, you know. So you feel like it's more of a wave that's influencing not only just me, but others in that way. What was the other thing I wanted to mention? Yeah, I'm not going to get into twinnings here as much as just to say, not only in your sphere, but during this time. Now, I'm talking here, this is March, beginning of March here, and through to summer. I feel this is going to hover into. I feel like this time is the frequencies are mixed up. Okay, throw them in a blender, good and bad, and then shoot them out. It just completely mixed up energies, everything, but it's all coming at us. Again, another veil lifting, yes. So people who have abilities are going to gain extremely more advancements in this way, a lot more extreme advancements. Give you an example. So I'm the type of person, I'm clairvoyant and whatnot. I do not and have put a block on myself to not see spirits in the reality here. I just do not like it. So they're like, okay, they can work with you to a certain degree, but at this point, we're needing to open up the doors. The doors here, we got to open up. So what's happening? People are starting to see that don't matter if you want to see or not, this is part of the process. So we got to start seeing. So this may be something that's happening to you. You may be starting to see things visually, spirits, orbs, entities, figures, ghosts, whatever. These kind of things are all going to start showing up. Another one is clairvoyance. People that may not have had a stitch of clairvoyance, they have their imagination, but clairvoyance is going to run rampant. Or gut reactions. Suddenly, they're going to literally get physically ill when they make a bad decision, or da-da-da. These things are going to heighten to such a degree that we just cannot disregard them anymore. It's going to be a sense like your eyes, like your ears, like your nose. You put something in front of your nose, you put lemon, you're going to smell that. Boom, it's there. You cannot avoid it. And you see it yellow, it's lemon, it's there. You cannot avoid it. This is how these extrasensory perceptions are going to be as well. So this is really another, I keep saying they lifting a veil. And this is what they do, but there's a lot of veils that are hidden from us. So lifting, it keeps revealing certain things. Now, how do I express? They were telling me, when they were explaining this to me earlier, they were saying, okay, it's like bringing a kid from kindergarten into grade 6 and then telling them to do algebra. It's like, oh, I know what the number 6 is, and I know what X is, and I know what Y is, but what's all the other things that don't make sense to me, right? It's the same thing. You're going to have situations come at you, intuitive nudges, all this stuff. There is a purpose to it, but as we evolve, it will unfold as we need it. And now we're just being, I think a lot of people have been introduced to this already, but a lot of people now are going to be just introduced to it as well. There's a lot of waves of this happening, going across the universe, going across whatever, your frequency. Whatever frequency you're at, you're going to be pulled higher. And part of that is the new abilities and the new ways you deal with all of that and whatnot. Again, this reading really centering on gaining and mastering your emotions, because this is really what's going to take you higher. This is for your highest good. And that's what they say too, you know. There's a lot of people that might be, because one of the things they highlighted to me earlier was the fact that some people are going to be in fear. A lot of people are going to be in fear, especially on the lower end, because all of this stuff is going to start coming in, and they're going to be in reject mode, denial mode, and push away mode. Not only do they not have the information because it's not of interest to us, but, you know, that can bring about fear. So if we have this happening in our field and whatnot, it is just like taking... how would you say? Okay, so you have all this stuff infiltrating your reality. And it was the same as I told my son as well. When you're walking down the street, you see people everywhere. You walk by them, it's no big deal. You drive, you see people everywhere. You drive by them, it's no big deal. You encounter all of these things on a daily basis, and some are good, some are bad, some you don't even have to deal with because they're not in your face, right? So it's the same with spiritual energy. You can have all of this stuff all around you, but if it's not hurting you or harming you or whatever, or you're not interacting, you don't have to be afraid of it. But again, you have to use your gut. But then again, if you're in fear of this, your gut ain't going to help you because your fear is going to be up front driving the bus. So there's a lot to think of there, and it all comes down to knowledge and research. That's why I'm saying those people in the middle of the road are going to benefit the most, because there's a curiosity that already led them to this place where they're going to research stuff and look into, well, where does this come from? Where does that come from? And what about this stuff? And what about that? So there's a knowledge base here to come from. Even though, you know, we may not know exactly what to do with it, we know it exists. So therefore, now, again, the bottom rung here, this could drive people crazy. This could throw people off the edge. This could. And the sense here is that we just need to kind of keep our calm and center and try not to deny things that you really are going to not have a choice in dealing with. So anybody that's trying to push off their emotions or push off their... so a lot of people that are emotionally unavailable, emotionally not wanting to deal with anything like that, these are going to be the hardest crutches at this time. This is the breaking point for them, because they're really going to have to deal with emotional center. They're going to have to deal with these things coming up, because they're going, we're going, and it's either, you know, and a lot of the people that are going to notice this, that are going to be aware of this, are already being tugged in that way of going in the positive way. So they're going to have to. So it's like having a report due, and you go, I got a week to work on it. I'm going to work on it a few hours a night and just be cool and calm with it and be okay. Well, these people that are emotionally repressed, the people that are denying their emotions, period, or denying or stuffing emotions about anything in any direction, they're going to feel like they ain't got a week. They got 1-2 days, because it's like they're cramming, because they got to do all this work that everybody else has been doing slyly or on the sly for a long time, slowly getting it done. So it's like their report's due tomorrow, and they got to pull an all-nighter to get it through. So it's stressful. It's more chaotic. It's more disruptive, da-da-da. So this is kind of like the cramming for the emotional test here. And really the emotion is the root. The heart is the root of the power that we need to go. And if we stuff the heart, or we stuff that center, be prepared to go in another way. Or pull up your pants and pull the all-nighter and pull it off and try and get through. It will be more chaotic. It will be more, just more difficult. But it's not like it's unaccomplishable. It's just more frazzled and more, right? Because we have the knowledge to do it. We just have to sit down and do it. And there's a timeline, and we've got to write, so it seems stressful. This is kind of what I'm getting. Now, again, I'm getting from the reading here that I did that there is a choice that needs to be made for these people. And for some of them, it may be, am I going to open my emotions and go where my emotions take me? Or am I going to shut down my emotions and then go where that takes me? Because that really is the choice here that I see. And one can create anxiety, and another can create a passionate new beginning. And that's really, I mean, you could loop that into anything. That could be work, that could be love, that could be regular life. You go in the right way, and the passion will open up. And if you don't, there will be struggle and stress. And I feel like the struggle and stress has been there, because I feel like these people that are not going in the right way know they're not going in the right way. But that's your litmus test. Your stress is your litmus test. It's like, we're stressed, something's wrong, we're not doing things right. And if you get rid of the stress to a certain degree, you can manage. Now, some people may be polluted by other things, but the bottom line here is, I think people are evolved enough that are moving forward. They know what's right and wrong. So it's just a matter of managing our emotions to the degree that we are centered within ourselves. So meaning we've processed all of our hurt emotions from our past, or the majority of them, right? Because we're constantly processing. As we're processing, there's more coming in. So for the majority, we want to process that emotion to the degree that we overcome, and we're more centered and more abundant. And again, that unclouds the mind. When we process our emotions, and I mean, I'm saying this, and a lot of times it is a struggle for me to do it myself, but we process these emotions, and it is easier for us to stay at center. If we do not, we get controlled by, and that's what I say, the dark side. It's not the dark side. It's your choices get controlled by your negative pull that you carry within you. So you don't want to do that. You want to process all of that, feel all of that, let go of all of that, and come to center. And then you see more clearly from a balanced state. Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense to me. It's very subtle. You can make very subtle changes and know exactly where it sits. But when you are full of anxiety, full of stress, full of resentment and bitterness, it is hard to see the bottom line here. We can't see the bottom line. So this is what I see going on here through all of this reading. No, give me a minute. Yeah, because there is a state here. They're going, we have a trajectory here for our future, and the Ace of Wands is putting the pen to the paper and going in that way. And I know for me as well, it's sometimes you're in a mindset where you just don't know where that future is, and especially with the world the way it is right now. And I feel that is no coincidence. I feel like the world is the way it is now in order for us to take the time to actually do make, to give us a little bit of time here to make decisions based. Now, this is a lot of underground stuff that's just not good, but on top of that, we're needing to make, no matter what's going on in the world, to make a decision of where I want my trajectory to go. And that's, I think, what the bottom line, they're going, we need to heal our heart. And then from our heart comes the creativity to go forward in what we truly want. And some people just, up to this point, they've been on autopilot for so long that there is no center point. There is no realizing that we just, all of a sudden we're on stop and we go, where did our life go? That kind of thing. And this is speaking to that. It's like, where's your life go? Go to your emotional center. Check that out. Are we in purity with the Empress? Can we go outward toward others in pure thought? If not, go back inside the Hermit and check it out. There's lessons there to be learned to help you make decisions as you go forward. And then Three of Cups, celebrate. Yes, I accomplished my lessons. I take them forward. And then the strength or the stress and anxiety can come, again, from making wrong decisions in this way. And I feel like the last 3 cards, but again, you have the strength and anxiety, you have the fight to struggle to make sure that you know what you're doing. Again, we got to watch our egos, because there was a point here where they were working on egos to flush it out. If we push through that and push our egos through, we're going to get tower after tower after tower until we realize what our ego is, and then we may get a chance to get that opportunity at the end, but we may also miss it. And if we miss it, then it's just, you just can't get out of it. You're just going to be at that level for the rest of your life. That's a little harsh, but in a sense, they're going for a long period of time before we really realize. Because again, after 2023, I feel like if the end, or mid the summer of 2022, next summer, if we don't have some kind of hold of our spiritual selves, we really are just not going to be on the boat. Like there's a boat here coming to take us forward, we're just not going to be on it. And if you still got your ego up front running the show, he's going in the other direction. He's not advancing. That's a different show altogether. So they go in Cinema 12. This one's Cinema 1. Like it's just not on the same boat. So the separation is really starting to crackle here now. We're starting to notice people in our lives. This has been, I'm saying starting now, but it really is been all along since 2012, 2013. For some people, maybe a little earlier, you're noticing, I don't jive here. I got to go left. I can't go right. This doesn't make sense to me. This is not, where I want to go. So, yeah, I'm just going to tone it down here a bit. My cat is just jumping on my cards here. Like I thought doing an audio reading would be easier, and it's not. Anyway, I'm going to figure out how to post these up and get this out as soon as I can. But very much, I'm going to take another one here. Oh, she moved my cards. Give me a minute. I'm going to shuffle. I'm going to pull one more just for like a kind of overall energy. The Ace of Wands sits very highly here. It's about you are the artist. You are the cat. Like you have a blank canvas. Now you can put whatever you want. And I tell you, as an energy reader, this is kind of this stuns my energy. Kind of puts me on stun gun. It's like, what? Because you're so used to things unfolding, and then you working around that. And now it is completely blank, so where are you going to go? And it can be not off-putting, but shocking to some. So I'm just relaying that part. But the Ace of Wands is basically where it's at. We have a canvas here, one flipped out. And we need to draw it in whichever way we want. And the flames are behind the hand going, this is the action that we want to take as we go forward. It is up to you, truly. Now, the card that came out was the Eight of Coins, and that's about hard work and labor. This woman is, you know, she's got these pentacles that she's making out of, what's the word? It's like out of, like barbed wire, barbed things. And her hands are all raw and her feet are raw even. So a lot of hard work and effort is going to be needed to move forward in that way, in order to make it through, really, because it's a new era energetically. I mean, it's a new era, right? Boom, there. And then there's new frequencies that are within this new era, and all of that really has to do with the fact that we have another manual here we got to work from, and we got new rules, new everything is new. So we're going to have to, you know, the Eight of Coins symbolizing we're going to have to pull up our sleeves and put in some hard work here. It's going to be hard at first, but once we get the hang of it, it's all free flowing after that. Yeah, for some it may be a little bit. I'm going to the bottom here. They told me to go. The tower is at the bottom. It was upside down. In order to in order to avoid the tower, we need to put in some hard work, because this is where a lot of people are headed. Because really, maybe there's a lot here that are in their egos and wanting something that is self-centered. So we got to start thinking of others and not just ourselves and what we can have for ourselves. We really shine better when we work together and This is really what I'm getting. So include that in your canvas as you move forward to paint your world. And it'll take a little bit of work to flip over to that side, but once you do, it will be very rewarding, because this is how we go forward, and this is how we make progress, and this is how we get away from the stress and anxiety. So hopefully, sorry about the reading, guys. Like, it's really something I've been pushed, and I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm energetically ready to do readings. So I'm just going to see if I can figure it out in this way. Hopefully it translates okay, and you guys make sense of it, and we'll go from there. So take care, have fun, be kind. This was the energy report for January, February, March, the beginning of March 2021.